Hi everyone! Today I'm in a bookstore. Today I'm in a store that sells a lot of books. They also sell other things. I'm talking a little bit quieter. I'm talking a little bit quieter than normal because it's a little bit rude to talk loudly in a bookstore. I hope you can hear me okay, but if not, I'm sorry. Let's walk around the bookstore together. These are all different types of books. This particular section is the manga section. A lot of these books have pictures. Look, there are different types of pictures inside these books. They're Japanese comic books. At least, I think that's the correct country. I don't really know a lot about this particular style of book, but I know that there's a lot of different books in this section. Here are some of the best young adult books. These books on this table are the books that people really liked. So we have different books. Some of the titles are If Only I Had Told Her and Every Spiral of Fate. The books on this table are books that were popular. A lot of people really liked them. And if we continue into this section, there's books for young adults. Books for young adults. A young adult is someone that's between the ages of maybe 15 to 20, something like that. Maybe 15 to 25 would be considered a young adult. And this section specifically is science fiction and fantasy. So all of these books have elements of fantasy or things that aren't real. They're not based in reality. This book, Sunrise on the Reaping, is by Suzanne Collins. And Suzanne Collins wrote a popular series that starts with this book. This book is called The Hunger Games. I really like this book, and this book was turned into a movie. The Hunger Games is about a group of rich people that put the peasants, the working class, into a game where they fight to the death. They fight, and there's only one winner. It's an interesting book series. Over here are books about technology. So, for example, you can find books about artificial intelligence, like ChatGPT, and you can find books about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is how to keep yourself safe from internet hackers. You can also find books about coding. For example, these books are about the coding program Java. In this section, are books about medicine. So these are all books about things related to medicine. For example, this book, Some Future Day. Oh, actually, I think this book is in the wrong section. This book is also about artificial intelligence, AI. If we continue this way, there's books about science. So, Stephen Hawking is a very famous scientist. So, he wrote a book called A Brief History of Time. There's also more books about science here. For example, this book, The Universe in a Box, Simulations and the Quest to Code the Cosmos by Andrew Pontzen. I think I'm saying his name correctly. Here are more books about science. For example, this is a book about the planet, about the world. So there's different things on the cover of this book, like a caterpillar, a bee, a butterfly, and a leaf. The science section is quite big. There's lots of things in the science section. This is the nature and wildlife section. So here you can find books about nature, about outside, and about animals. For example, the book What an Owl Knows. This is an owl, and this book is about owls. This book is part of the nature and wildlife section. And it continues along this wall. You can find books about whales, books about trees. There's so many different types of books about nature. If you love dogs, here's a book about dogs. Continuing this way are romance books. These books are love stories. So you can see there's a woman and a man, and it looks like it's a love story. All the books in the romance section are going to be focused on love stories. Here's a romance novel about another woman and a man. It looks like this man is a cowboy. Here's a romance story about a woman in a pink dress and this man in a white shirt. There's a lot of different romance novels. For example, Queen Charlotte, which looks like a romance novel about this person that's in the royal family falling in love with this gentleman. Next is the mysteries and thrillers section. All of these books are going to be books where there's something mysterious happening. There's something you have to solve. For example, this is called Bayou Book Thief. And so, in this book, there's a thief, and you have to figure out who the thief is and what they stole. All of these books are stories about crimes or something mysterious happening, and you have to solve the story. You have to solve the mystery. All of these books over here are in the fantasy section. Fantasy books are about worlds that are created. They're not based in reality. A good example of a fantasy book is Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a fantasy book about wizards. These are rom-coms. Rom-com stands for romantic comedy. So all of these books are like the romance books, but they're funny. A comedy is something that's funny. Continuing over this way are books in the horror section. Horror. All of these books are scary. Look, they're scary books. An example of a classic horror book, horror story, is this book called The Raven and Other Poems. It's by an author named Edgar Allan Poe. He's a very famous author. I don't really like the horror genre because it's scary. Look, all of these books make me scared, and if I read them, I'm probably not going to be able to sleep that night. There's also other things besides books in this store. For example, there's markers that you can use to color. These are for kids. This is based on Disney's movie Encanto. And there's a paint set and crayons and a paintbrush for kids to color and paint the different drawings. This is honestly really cute. I kind of want to buy it, but I'm not going to. Maybe I'll buy it for my niece. There's things to make friendship bracelets, and there's also sticker packs. These are all stickers. This bookstore is giant. This is the poetry, drama, and literary criticism section. So all of these books are books of poetry. Poetry is when people use words to evoke a feeling, usually using rhymes or other forms of poetry that are known, such as a haiku. Some famous poets are Emily Dickinson, Robert Frost, and probably the most well-known poet is William Shakespeare. This is the poetry section. I really like writing poetry, but I don't read a lot of poetry. If we continue over this way, we have the personal growth section. The personal growth section. All of these books are about self-improvement. For example, The Courage to Be Disliked. This book is about how it's okay to do things that align with your values, even if people won't like you because of your actions. This book is about the psychology of money, basically lessons about wealth, greed, and happiness. This book is about habits, small things that you do every day, and how to improve your good habits. And this book, How to Break Up with Your Phone, is a book about how to be on your phone less, how to decrease your screen time. If we continue over this way, there are more personal growth books. My husband likes to read personal growth books, and after he reads them, I like for him to tell me all of the important things that the book said. These are cookbooks. Cookbooks have recipes. So cookbooks give you recipes and show you how to bake or cook things with different types of food. For example, this cookbook, it looks like she's making some sort of cheesy potatoes. There's different types of cookbooks. In this cookbook, this man will show you how to make different types of sandwiches and salads. I'm getting hungry looking at all the pictures of the foods in the cookbook section. I hope that you enjoyed walking around the bookstore with me today. Remember, if you want more of these types of videos, go to EnglishSponge.com. On EnglishSponge.com, you can find lots of different types of videos for you to learn English. Have a great day. Bye.